Hello and welcome to a basic introduction to Final Cut Pro. I'm going to start off by showing you the Final Cut Pro interface. So we start off with opening a library. So if you just click open a library, and if you've got any there you can right click close library. Now I'd like you to create a new library. So if you click new and just title it as your library, so put your name there, and save it in your documents. Now make sure you're clear where you're saving. You do need to make sure that you're organised throughout this tutorial and the rest of your editing project. Okay, as you can see I've already set up a library for myself, so I'm going to open that. Now mine has some footage in, yours won't have footage at the moment, and it might ask you to create a new event. If you have an event here, you'll probably find that it's dated for today's date. So if you just click enter on your keyboard, and you should be able to rename that and click enter again. Now I'd like you to import some footage. So if you import media or use this button over here that you should have over there, and access the footage as I've shown you in class. Once you've found that footage, so it should be in your folder that you've saved, you're able to find that footage. So mine's on my desktop, but if you need to go into user and find it from there, that's fine. And then you just import selected. So you can use shift on your keyboard to select more than one and import all of those. And we need to import all of these ones here, all of the horror footage basically. And that should bring it into your event here. So an event is kind of like where all of the footage is stored. So you can see as I click on this footage, it comes up here. Now yours might look something like that, but I'd like you to turn it over to the list view please. So if you click on this here, it should put it into this view here. Now you should see the footage at the top with a waveform displaying the audio levels at the bottom. Now you might have this little red line which allows you to scrub. If you don't have that, click S on your keyboard, and that allows you to scrub through and view the footage from lots of different points. Now as you can see, if you just extend this out, you've got all your data for your footage here. So you've got the name of your footage, the starting point, the end point and duration. Now we can change the name of each of these clips by just clicking enter. And what I would like you to do before you start this project is make sure you're clear what each of these scenes are. So it might be a case of renaming them. I'd certainly expect you to rename all of your clips when using your own footage. It just ensures that you're organised throughout your project, and it'll save you time really, and it'll save you from getting a bit confused as well. So that's the event. We're moving on now to this output screen, which displays the footage we have highlighted in the event, but it also displays footage highlighted on this timeline here. Now, if you don't have a timeline, you'll need to create a new timeline. So, if I just show you how to do that, I'll get rid of my project. Okay, so you just click new project. And you can use these automatic settings, which I'd suggest you do if you're using footage that you're unsure of the format of. But the best thing to do, and the most professional thing to do, is to ensure you know the footage format from the get-go, so before you start filming. In this case, the footage was filmed in 1080p HD and at a resolution of 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to use this custom. Yours will be like that. If you use custom, and make sure you select those and click OK. Now we can rename that. We can name it in that previous window, or you just click enter to name it here. So I'll call it horror timeline so that you know what we're using here, and you can see that's popped up here. So I'm going to drag and drop some footage from this event onto the timeline. You just drag it and drop like that. So this scrubbing should allow you to go across and view the footage at any point. So I'm going to take that off for now, just to save us from that popping up all the way through this tutorial. So you'll see that this little percentage is going up, and as you notice, this orange line is disappearing from the timeline. That's basically the footage rendering. Now the computer automatically does this. If you were to use a computer upstairs in the studio, you will need to render manually by clicking Command and R on your computer. That'll just smoothen out your footage really and ensure maximum resolution from your footage. So these processes are continually going on in the background, so I'm just going to click them off for now, but if you ever want to view them, you just click on that section there. Now, in this output window, you've got these playback options. Obviously, play, which will allow you to view the footage. You've got skip forward and skip backwards. Those skip forwards and backwards will skip back to the previous edit. So, for instance, if we put in another clip here, I'll just use this zoom out here to show you. Now you can skip forward to the next point and skip forwards again, like that. You do have these tools, transform, crop and distort here as well, which we will cover in another tutorial. If you want to zoom into this output window, you use this viewer up in the top corner. I've just got it to fit at the moment, but you can view it at 100% or anything like that. This little box here gives you lots of different options for keyframing, which again we will go through in another tutorial, but just to show you, basically it allows you to alter lots of different options here. I'm just going to undo those for now. You can also play with the audio effects, enhancements and those kinds of things, and you can also view some information about your clip. So you can see where the clip's stored, you can see what it's filmed in, you can see how long the clip is and all of those things. And that could be quite useful if you're going to go back out and film and you wanted to refilm in the same format. Once you've added effects as well, you can save effects preset, which is quite useful if you're adding it to lots of clips. So there's some general information. Now to move on to these tools here. So you have the select tool, which allows you to move this footage around. Select things, bring them down, select effects and those kinds of things. You can find that using this menu or clicking A on your keyboard. Trim allows you to trim the end and start of clips by dragging it back and forth like that. Can be quite useful if you just want to trim a little bit of your clip off. Position allows you to move the position in. So for instance, you can move it along the timeline like that. It does tend to put in these black clips, which you'll need to delete. You can use range selector, which will allow you to just select a part of your clip if you want to play it back. So for instance, if you wanted to just view that part and remove slight part of that, then you can do. Blade is your cutting tool. So that allows you to split the clip. So as you can see there, if we go back to select, you've now got two clips. And that'll allow you, if you're using this marker here, to mark up part of your clip. So for instance, we want to make a cut here. And we want the cut to end there where we've made it before. And then you just select the portion of the clip you don't want and click delete, and that will get rid of that. And now you can see we've got a hole in our clip at the moment, but if you click backspace it will scroll it backwards as well. So that's how you do that. I mean, you can use these snapping tools here which snap your clip, or you can unsnap and move your clip around, which means it won't snap to the last point here, won't stick to that last clip. You can look at the waveforms or take the waveforms off as well. Lots of different options here. This bit at the top here tells you where your playhead, this marker here, is at. So if we click on that, you can use this by typing in. So for instance, if we wanted 3 seconds, we put 300, and if you click enter, it will move the marker to 3 seconds. Now, as you can see, it works minutes, seconds, frames. Now if you wanted to move along one frame, you click the right button on your keypad, and that'll allow you to move along one frame. So that allows you to be very precise when you're editing. And again, using this zoom in tool, you can pretty much see each frame. So you can see here 0302, 0302. If we move along now one, it moves us along a full frame. I'm just going to zoom back out. So that's your basic interface, but you've also got these effects here as well. So you can see you've got some video effects which we can look at adding later on. You've got photos which you could add in, audio effects and music and sound. You've got transitions such as your blurs and those kinds of things, titles as well, and all of these you just drag and drop. Now aside from the titles, most of these are just drag and drop. If you click something and drag it and drop it on the timeline, you'll see that you can edit the effect at the top here. So text comes into this little text box at the top, and then you can change it. So you can change your text there. You've also got these kind of generators which are really only used for like title sequences. And again, these themes as well you can use for title sequences or little DVD menus or anything like that. And that's basically the very basic interface of Final Cut Pro, and how to import and create a small edit as well. Okay, so that's the first introduction if you'd like to look at creating a horror scene now.